I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Do I have to call the meeting to order?
You do.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to call the open meeting of June 17th to order. Do I have a motion to go into open session?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call. Oh. Any discussion? No? I thought I saw a hand. Ms. Robinson, roll call vote.
Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Dr. Holland?
Yes.
Mrs. Corley?
Yes.
Ms. Payne? Yes. Mrs. Town? Yes. Mrs. Collins?
Yes. Thank you very much. We are now in open session. We have a full agenda and an exciting agenda, so I'm glad y'all are here to witness it. Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Madam President, just citing board policy 200, upon the request of any board member, an item may be withdrawn from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda for independent consideration. 2 pages, Part H, Treasurer's Report. So the Treasurer's Report would just appear immediately after the consent agenda for independent consideration at my request. Doesn't need a vote.
Thank you very much. So we need a vote. We need a,
Amend the agenda.
okay. So we move to amend the agenda to move item H to the open agenda after public comments. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ms. Payne? Yes. Mrs. Corley?
Yes.
Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Mrs. Town?
Yes.
Dr. Holland?
Yes.
Mrs. Holland?
Yes. Thank you. Motion passes 6-0. Oh, wait. Yep, we're still 6. We still are. Public comments.
Mr. Bates?
Good evening, Mr. Hart, Board of Education, Mark Bases, Director of District Athletics. Just here real quick to kind of recap one of the things that we do in the athletic department, along with food service. We have, for the last few years, had our athletes volunteer at the East Central Illinois Food Bank monthly at Mark Denman Elementary, and various other things throughout the community. And as I totaled them up this week, our athletes have put in over 500 hours in the community, volunteering, giving back. We love that they do that. We loved helping out with food services. Unfortunately, that program is being done away with. So I'm also here to ask a little bit for the community to reach out to me or one of our athletic directors if you have something in the community that you need people to volunteer for. Our athletes are ready and willing, and we're looking to do some of that to fill the void for every Saturday, once a month, every Saturday, as we did that for East Central Illinois and Ms. Pujol. So that's all I have.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mr. Bases.
Velvet Jack?
Good evening, board. I see you have a full agenda, so I will be keeping this simple and short. I am a Danville resident. I have one student attending DHS, and I'm here tonight to share my concerns about the proposed use of Yonder pouches at the high school. I understand and appreciate the goal to reduce distractions, improve focus, and create a better learning environment. But I believe we must balance that goal with practicality, safety, and respect for our students' real-world needs. If we're serious about preparing students for life beyond school, we should give them opportunities to exercise responsibilities. That includes managing their cell phones. That said, I've already emailed you everything else. If the board chooses to move forward with the Yonder policy, I respectfully request a reasonable adjustment to allow students access to their phones during lunch. My student, like so many others, use their phone to communicate with their family, coaches, extracurricular advisors, and their employers. This small compromise honors their growing independence while still preserving the focused environment you're striving to create in classrooms. So I hope we can aim for balance and not total restriction. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Moving to then the moved item from the consent agenda, the treasurer's report, which we will hear.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to table the treasurer's report until another meeting. And if I get a second, I can tell you why I think that's a good idea.
Second.
Yes, okay.
Comments?
I asked several questions to Mr. Hart, and he was very helpful. And primarily the questions that I asked about the treasurer's report cannot be answered at this time due to staffing unavailable to answer my questions. So that's basically why. I can't get an answer to some of the questions, so I think we should table it till the next meeting.
Okay, any other comments? Roll call vote, Ms. Robinson.
Mrs. Corley?
Yes.
Mrs. Town? Yes. Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Dr. Holland?
Yes.
Ms. Ham? Yes. Ms. Collins?
Yes. Motion passes 6-0. Thank you. At this time, it is my pleasure to make an announcement of the appointment of Associate Superintendent of Schools. This person is a Danville native, DHS class of 1999, holds an associate's degree in science and arts from DAC, a bachelor's degree in elementary education with an English concentration from EIU in 2005, started her teaching career in April 2005 at East Park Mark Denman Elementary School. She was a teacher at Liberty for 9 years, 3rd and 4th grade. While teaching, earned her Master of Arts in Curriculum and Instruction from Olivet Nazarene and a Master of Arts in Educational Administration from EIU. She's been an assistant principal for 3 years at DHS, principal for 1 year at Northeast Elementary Magnet School, director of Human Resources for 4 years in Urbana. In 2022, began the pursuit of her doctorate in education with superintendent endorsement from the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. She returned to D118 in 2023 as the Assistant Director of HR. She holds a superintendent endorsement that she earned in May of 2025. Also in May 2025, she started her dissertation process, which is focused on equitable leadership practices at the district level. And while she has until 2029 to defend her dissertation, she is hopeful to defend it in 2027. So needless to say, she's a very busy lady, and I couldn't be more pleased that she has agreed to this appointment. She is a tremendous asset to our district, and she will be wonderful in that role. Can I please hear a nomination for Markeisha Parker?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mrs. Town? Yes. Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Ms. Payne? Yes. Dr. Holland?
Yes.
Mrs. Corley?
Yes.
Mrs. Holland?
Yes, and with that, welcome Markeisha Parker.
I think it's on. Good evening, Board of Education, Mr. Hart, and members of the Danville community. I stand before you tonight with deep gratitude and excitement for this amazing opportunity. Well, I have known since the 3rd grade, thanks to my teacher, Mrs. Susan Shane, that education was my calling. If you would have told 19-year-old Markeisha Hillsman that she would one day serve as the Associate Superintendent of District 118, she would have laughed at you in disbelief. And yet here I am, 25 years later, humbled and honored by this opportunity. First, I would like to thank my family and friends for their unwavering support, encouragement, and prayers. My oldest son, Davin, who has walked this journey with me for the past 25 years. You were my motivation. Thank you. Thank you to my husband, Travis, who has sacrificed some of his own dreams so that I could pursue mine. And to my youngest son, Phoenix, and my bonus children, thank you. I owe a special thanks to my professional mentors, Dr. Kimberly Norton, Superintendent of Heritage School District number 8, Dr. Jennifer Ivory Tatum, Superintendent of Urbana School District 116, and Dr. Angie Franklin, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources for Urbana School District 116. They recognized my potential, and they provided me with professional opportunities that challenged me to go beyond my comfort zone. They have had a significant impact on the leader that I am today. As your Associate Superintendent, I am committed to leading transparently, being visible and accessible, and doing what is right because it's the right thing to do. I look forward to refining our district systems, moving forward with strategic planning, and implementing initiatives that support the growth and success of every student here in District 118. I am honored to join Mr. Hart and the entire D118 family in this new role. We understand that the role will be demanding, and while change does not happen overnight, we are ready to meet the challenge. However, we cannot do this work alone. The success of our students and our schools depend on a strong partnership with you, our community. So please engage, share your ideas, and bring your questions and concerns to our district and building leadership teams before you take them to social media outlets. Give us the opportunity to work with you to find a solution. We all share one common mission: to educate and empower the children of this community so that they can achieve their fullest potential. So to the Board of Education, Mr. Hart, thank you for trusting me and believing that I am the right person for this position. I am eager to begin this important work and serve the District 118 and Danville community with purpose and passion. Thank you.
You may take your new seat. Thank you very much. We have a second very important role to fill that we are looking forward to. This signals to the community we are moving forward, and we're moving forward in a very positive direction. So it is an honor and privilege for John Hart to serve as the interim superintendent of Danville School District 118. Deep-rooted commitment to public education and the success of every student, Mr. Hart has dedicated the past 24 years to District 118 in a variety of impactful roles, including teacher, principal, director, assistant superintendent, and now interim superintendent. Proud graduate of Eastern Illinois, Mr. Hart holds a bachelor's degree in education, a master's degree in general administration, and an endorsement as director of special education. In 2016, he furthered his professional journey by earning a superintendent's endorsement and completing an education specialist degree in educational leadership. Throughout his career, Mr. Hart has passionately advocated for a quality, comprehensive education for all students. He shares in the vision of the Board of Education to ensure that all District 118 students reach their fullest potential. His leadership philosophy centers around developing rigorous teaching and learning environments, promoting social-emotional wellness, and creating opportunities for students to discover their talents and dreams through rich academic, fine arts, athletic, and extracurricular activities. Beyond his professional commitment, Mr. Hart treasures his role as a family man. He has been happily married for 32 years to his wife, Sandy, and together they have raised 3 children, Joshua, Alec, and Rain. Their family continues to grow and bring joy through their 4 grandchildren, Riley, Austin, Haven, and Kylan. With his blend of leadership, compassion, and steadfast belief in the potential of every child, John Hart remains dedicated to the students, families, staff, and the community of Danville School District 118. At this time, I will entertain a motion to promote John Hart from interim superintendent to superintendent of schools.
So moved.
Make a motion that we transfer him to superintendent of schools.
Second.
Roll call vote. Ms. Robinson.
Dr. Honor?
Yes.
Mrs. Town?
Yes.
Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mrs. Corley?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. With that, it's my honor to introduce our new superintendent of schools, John Hart.
Good evening, Board of Education, community members, students, everyone, staff. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity. I can assure you that I am up for the challenge. This job has not been easy since I've been in it, and it only gets easier by the day. I feel like everybody is moving in the same direction, which makes a huge difference for the school district. And that goes everyone from teachers, custodians, food service, administrations. These jobs are hard. These jobs are important. Not anybody could do these jobs, and I'm fortunate to work with some of the best. So I appreciate you. I appreciate the support from the Board of Education that I've received, and I am ready to move this district forward. So thank you.
With that, I would also like to announce at this time, tell me if I can I talk about, we conducted interviews for our vacant board position prior to this meeting. We have one more interview to conduct, and then we will be making an announcement of an appointee to this board. We'll have a full complement on the board, full administrative staff, new leadership, and great things are going to happen. We're moving forward. So thank you very much.
And Mrs. Corley is going to speak about the consent agenda.
There was an item in the consent agenda that we would like to bring to your attention. So it's my honor, Mr. Brent Lockhart. I've known Mr. Lockhart as a music teacher from Northeast for 5 years, and then at Mark Denman Elementary as an AP for the last 3 years. It's my honor to announce that he will be moving to Southview to work with an amazing team, Ms. Fluno's team at Southview. So congratulations, Brent. And I also want to point out that we will be posting the Assistant Director of HR soon, which was Ms. Parker's old position. So that will also be posted.
Thank you.
Mr. Lockhart, would you please stand and receive our appreciation? Moving on to item number 8, Yonder cell phone pouches. The high school team and the Northridge team.
Good evening, Superintendent Hart and Board of Education. I'm Jacob Bretz, Principal of Danville High School. I have Mr. Nathan Henderson, Assistant Principal of Northridge Middle School here. So I'm here to, and I presented 2 meetings ago. So I'm here to officially ask your approval of the purchase of Yonder cell phone pouches for both Danville High School and now Northridge Middle School. I know that the total for Danville High School is $42,742, both to bring us into compliance with what will eventually be cell phone legislation from the state, but also to create a more engaged and focused learning environment at both schools. Did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I don't have the exact number for Northridge. It's roughly half, as we have half as many students. But we thought that after hearing Mr. Brett's talk at the last meeting, that it would be a good opportunity for us to try to align our practices and our structures to better prepare our students for the transition from middle school to high school, and as a collective, just be consistent with what those expectations are.
Can I have a motion to approve the use of Yonder pouches at both Danville High School and Northridge Middle School?
Motion to approve.
When do we discuss?
After we have a second.
Very good. Very good. A second then.
Okay. Okay, now we can have a discussion. Dr. Halloran?
The motion and the approval tonight is for purchase.
Yes, it
Do
would
we-
come out of Title IV
Yes.
federal grant money, and the company has told me the life of pouches would be 6 to 8 years.
I'm sure you have some sort of an implementation plan in mind.
So yes, the company also, that's part of the service that we are purchasing. So they pair you with an implementation specialist. Actually, I have a meeting with the company tomorrow at 9:30, depending on how this goes. And so they, like I said at the last meeting, they're very protective of their product. They have very specific ways they want it implemented, one of which is that it is bell to bell.
I'm sorry,
Is bell to bell, like that they don't get unlocked throughout the day for various reasons. And so they walk you through, it's the first line item on the quote, included in the package is implementation planning, support, process logistics planning, policy creation and launch plan, and school resource template for school policy, parent letters, staff communications, and more.
I'm wondering, from the comment we heard in public
Mhm.
comments, which seemed to have some reasonable thought into it, and for legitimate reasons, whether there's any negotiation wiggle in that whatsoever in terms of implementation.
I personally would ask that there not be, for two reasons. One, I think it both goes against the philosophy of what we're trying to accomplish through purchasing the pouches, in terms of creating a focused, phone-free environment. And then also, I would be concerned about the logistical undertaking that would pose for the staff of the high school. Also, like, between the second and the third lunch, there's not even a 5-minute window that we do have a 5-minute window between the first and the second lunch, but not between the second and the third. So you would have hundreds of students leaving and coming into the cafeteria simultaneously. And so the logistical and the components and the supervision of that would be quite an undertaking, and I think a drain for 30 minutes of the school day.
Any other comments?
You have a point of order. We have to actually vote on these separately as they're listed separately on the agenda. So we need a re-motion for high school separate from the middle school.
I will entertain a motion for approval of Yonder pouches at Danville High School.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion I have is it is funded by federal funds. Mr. Hart?
Yes,
Yes.
it's funded by federal funds.
And Mr. Hart knows and Ms. Parker knows that it's part of our budget that we're going to be presenting and hopefully approving before the end of October. So this is money that we'll already be spending in the budget, right? Mr. Hart?
Yes, that's correct.
But like all federal grants, we pay for it up front and wait for reimbursement, right?
Correct.
So it is going to impact us initially while we're waiting for reimbursement. But Mr. Bretz and you've considered the cost and you believe it's worth it.
I believe it's worth it. The staff believe it's worth it, yes.
So I called around to some parents that I know on the district, and I wondered if you could help me. I'm sure they're watching. Some of them are a little concerned that we weren't very efficient at enforcing a dress code in the last several years. We started off with really great ideas, and it got complicated across the schools. How are you confident that this won't fall to the way of our in writing dress code versus in practice dress code?
Yeah, because this impacts learning and teaching, and what students wear, I don't believe does.
So you think our philosophy to hold to no cell phone, this will work? You believe it'll work?
I believe it will work. I think it'll be challenging. I'll add the 2 area schools in our immediate area that I've spoken to that both Urbana Middle School and, well, all of Peoria 7 through 12 uses them. I've had conversations with the principal at Richwoods, and they both very much also stated that they are happy that their districts went in this direction as well. They said that it is uncommon, like extremely uncommon, after initial implementation and getting through the growing pains to see a phone either in a classroom or a hallway.
This would kind of align with the clear book bags, for which you get very little pushback anymore on that. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, not much at all. Students have adapted just the same to the weapon detection systems. I'm not naive. I don't think it's going to be easy at the start by any means. But over time, we're humans and we always adapt to change over time eventually.
And I would, to Mr. Easton's point, I would add, as it relates to the uniform standard dress, the expectations for the Yonder pouches have far fewer variables in terms of the implementation and expectations, kind of like the clear book bags. It's pretty cut and dry, and I think it'll be pretty evident to see. There won't be any gray area in terms of does the student have the cell phone or not.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, Mr. Henderson.
Any other comments?
I do.
Is your mic on? Could I please have everyone turn your mics on?
My mic is on.
Okay, thank you.
I'm torn. I've been in the Viking roundtables. I've listened to the staff. I've listened to the presentation that Mr. Retz gave us. I do think, as a parent, this is very difficult for me because I do understand what Ms. Jack's saying. And I do have a couple of children still in the district. However, after I talked to the staff and listened to what they had to say, my views were changed. I do think this could be a very positive thing after the initial growing pains. I don't know how long that will take, but my concern is the cost. After our recent discovery of the deficit for our district, that is a serious concern of mine. And just being transparent, I'm scared to spend any money in this district right now. But I don't disagree that we need it. So where does that leave us? So that's where we are. You almost don't even know what to do because I do agree we need it. I do think it would be a great asset for our school, academically speaking, let alone socially speaking. So those are just my concerns. I'm just trying to be as transparent with the community because we are in a real situation, if you will.
I understand that. I don't envy you.
And you said Title IV, which is federal money. Do we have?
I was going to ask Mr. Hart to please explain to the public Title IV funds and how that works so that they understand where the money is coming from.
Sure. Where's Mrs. Truex when I need her? No, just kidding. So, Title IV funds, and actually I confuse Title II and Title IV frequently, but I'm not going to today. So, Title IV funds are typically the oddities, or if you will, they don't quite fit into math and English language arts, so they're outside of that. You may. I mean, you're going to know the details.
Sure.
Yeah, use the
We
mic.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
We've already received our Title IV allotment for this year and Title I, $267,000. This will be approximately $70,000. Title IV is spent on well-rounded instruction, so we do music tutors. It's also safety, so we do cameras. We've done CTE with it. We do the DSO concert for the kids. We do the U of I camps for the kids out of that. And we will have, let's see, what do we have? We have, the SRO training. We do that. 15% of Title IV must go to technology. So I work with Mrs. Hummel, and usually she'll do extra Chromebooks or Chromebook cases. So as of right now, I've already, I have the grant is open for fiscal year 26 for Title IV and Title I. I haven't written it yet because I'm still gathering all the POs, and it's not due till July 31st, and it was open last week. I'm still amending last year's money. So we do have carryover that I'm expecting to get. We get 100% carryover in Title IV. We get 100% carryover in Title II. However, this year we have 0 Title II as of right now, so that you're aware of that. Title II is everything for teachers. So PD, stipends, anything that's an improvement of instruction, we have $0 for that right now. They are saying that we might get that, but I sat down with our team, we went through priorities, and I put the most important improvement of instruction things into Title I set aside, because we get 4.2 million in Title I. So I know you didn't want a whole grant lesson on that, but that's what we have right now in fiscal year 26. So there's approximately, I think it's 42,000 for you, and it's around 27 for you. So it's about 70-some thousand dollars.
The monies aren't transferable from Title IV to Title II. I mean, you can't take something designated in Title IV and put it in another title line item. No.
Well,
Yeah,
Title I.
yes, you can. That's called blending and braiding. Now, years ago, what we did was we had Title I and Title II, and then we put Title IV money into Title I for reading and math. But then when Dr. Geddes came, we moved Title IV because we didn't want it to look like we didn't want that money, that we didn't need it. So we put Title IV in a set. It's all bundled into one grant. Title I, II, and IV is called ESEA of 1965 as amended. So it's all one grant. So you can move things in and out. What you can't do is move something out into the district and put it back in. So if I pay for Yonder pouches right now, and let's say next year you pay for Yonder pouches, I can never put it back in Title IV. So we have to be really careful as to what we pull out of grants. I can move things around with grants, like Illinois Empower grants, after-school program grants. You can definitely do that.
So to clarify what you just said, if we use your Title IV for the pouches, but then next year we use district funds, it can't go back to the grant.
Exactly. We could possibly put it in Title I. I mean, I don't look for Title IV or Title I. In the next couple years, I've been told that we should have that money. Title II, again, is for teachers. So that money is 0 right now.
So is there a reason and I'm just asking because I don't know, to use Title I instead of Title IV?
Well, because Title IV is for safety, security, and well-rounded, so I would prefer to put it in Title IV. It's cleaner and it makes more sense to me.
Okay.
But if we would have to move into Title I, I can ask my principal consultant, is this something we could put in Title I? It's not instructional, so that
Right.
concerns me a little bit. It could maybe go in community, because we're giving it to everyone. Like our school supplies is a community line. So everything has a different line and a different object code.
That was very good. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just have a question for Mr. Bretz. I have a student.
You're done with me then?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you,
Miss-
Mr. X.
Mr. Bretz, this is just to give some clarity and maybe some ease to the public comment we just received. I've been talking to my student who's at Danville High School, and tell me, is it true that she will be able to email me with her Chromebook during the day if she needed to tell me that show choir was canceled?
Yes, all students have a Chromebook and a district-assigned email account.
An email, I think for many people, I hope it works very similar to text to alleviate some of that concern about changing appointments. I think parents would need to hear that to help a little bit with the concern. The other concern I have in talking to people is, and I've heard you say this, I just hope you would say it again, that you agree or not, that we would punish the phone and not the student, and teachers wouldn't be enforcing these rules. Administrators like Mr. Henderson and yourself would be enforcing these rules, and the teachers are going to be teaching like they're wanting to do.
Yes, I think that's another reason I would advocate for this approach, because it's cut and dry, and it doesn't leave anything up to the teacher discretion in terms of if they see a phone, having to make a in-the-moment decision on the context of how it was used, or try to interpret why it was seen or out of the backpack, and they can simply focus on teaching. And yes, I think the only thing that would result in punishing the student would be anything that might transpire from the student with a staff member when being corrected about not appropriately using their pouch. I think when redirected, if that redirection is taken and staff are respected, then I think restoration to the classroom for learning would be what's most important, and another reason why I would advocate for this approach. Yes, Mr. Howland.
Do we know what percentage of our students carry a phone?
122.
An actual exact percentage? No,
No,
but I
not
think,
actual. I mean, is it 80-20?
I think
100%.
you're 95% at the low end.
And how much does an individual pouch cost?
$30 per student.
Is there, because it would be a privilege to bring a phone to the school, perhaps there's an opportunity for some cost sharing here. That would be a way to offset some of the funds that we might expend out of grant dollars, and also allow people to have their phones in the pouch, but still to have it at school. In other words, you could opt not to pay $30 and not to bring your phone to school because it's useless during school anyway.
Technically, I guess you could. How you logistically manage that, I think that would be my first thought would be, how do you know or track who are the students who have their phones in a pouch and who are the students who allegedly haven't brought them to school, which I'm saying allegedly very intentionally, they'll bring them to school. And that's just one more thing for, I think that would be something that would undoubtedly to some degree fall on teachers to manage, and to know that and have that memorized for every student in their classroom across 6 periods a day. To me, I think we're all in on it or we're not, and I understand the concerns of the parents. I do. I understand the situation you're in with finances. I believe that however the 6 of you vote, it's with the best of intention for the district. And so, but I don't know how you manage knowing who. What basically you will have is you'll just have everyone say, I'm not bringing my phone to school, and they'll all bring their phones to school and try to sneakily use them and come up with every way they can under the sun to use them, or to get out of class to go use them. I think you are voting on, and I'm asking for either we're all in or we're not on this, and if we're not, then we'll go back to the drawing board. If we are, then thank you very much.
Is this something that could be enacted mid-year, or is it something that has to be done start of year?
So there's obviously the benefits of starting something day one, right? But the company has told me that they have successfully had implementation of this program at all different stages of the school year. I know at Urbana Middle School, I don't think this is probably the amount of wait time you're looking for. They implemented like 3 weeks into the year to give time to get the school year going. But the representative I've spoken to multiple times has said that, yeah, they implement this with schools at all various times of the school year. While the majority are like opening the school year with the program, it's not their position. It's not that it has to be like if someone comes to them and say we want to implement this and it's October, like they work with you on implementing it in October. I don't think that's ideal, but I do understand you have other questions you are needing answered in other areas that are influencing how you might vote tonight.
Is there any reason that we can't begin the program at the beginning of the school year?
Why we cannot?
Yes, are we prepared? Can we be prepared?
It'll be quick, a quick turnaround, but yes, we can.
We can.
Ms. Payne had a.
Yes, Ms. Payne.
I understand parents' concerns about their children not having phones. But if you look at statistics, most students at high school in particular spend 2.5 hours on their cell phones while they are at school instead of focusing on academics. And that is one of the major things that we're going to work to improve the academics of our students. I think we just have to trust that this is going to work. Like everything else that's new, that C word, change. We have to give it time to actually work, but I think it will.
And I had a little bit of a comment. We are really the first generation to manage the kids who are the first generation to have all of this access to electronics and social media. And it will be some trial. And we don't know what the exact answer is, but I go back, there's tons of data and statistics out there with how much time our students and our kids spend on an electronic device. And it's staggering. There's a Diana Sawyer special, it's been years ago, might have been during COVID, blew my mind. If you guys can find it anywhere, watch it. It talks about the number of times you touch your phone during the day, the number of times you pick it up, the number of times that you look at it. It was somewhere between 1 and 300 times a day that you check your phone. And she did a test, and she had a family go without phones. And they sat down at the dinner table and they talked to each other, and they were more engaged. Their life improved socially. And I think as an overall, here we are in the school, but we don't talk about the school being just the school. We talk about it being part of our community. So I think that we have to look at it that way. I know that we want to put boundaries on our kids with how much they use their phones, and sometimes it happens and sometimes they get by with it. So when we have the opportunity, I think, to help them improve, it's going to improve their grades, their attention at school. I think we need to consider it. And what about, can we do a trial? Can we go for a year and say, is there some concrete evidence that says after 1 year of no phones, we have, I don't know if you look at grades overall, or if there is some type of a factor that you can look at that says we have improved.
Yeah, I've thought about that. I would be looking at two things: behavioral data and academic data. So I would look at course passage and then decrease in specific types of behaviors. I see the biggest impact in looking for a decrease in things like fighting, threatening, intimidating acts, and like we've all seen kids loving to videotape certain types of behavior in the school. A lot of the communication, here's the thing, there's an entire student conversation happening at every school in America underground that no adult knows is happening. And they're having it all day long on their phones, and it is unmonitored, and we have no clue as the adults. And a lot of that conversation is actually the thing that causes a lot of the behaviors that we see that frustrate us so much, that have no place in our schools.
Anyone else? Roll call vote, Ms. Robinson.
Mrs. Town?
Yes.
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mrs. Corley?
Yes.
Dr. Ashton. Oh, Lord, sorry. Dr. Howard.
Yes.
Mr. Easton.
Yes.
Mrs. Howard.
Yes, the motion carries 6-0. I know it wasn't easy. You can tell that it was not easy for members of this board. But we certainly want to move in the right direction, and hopefully this is a step in that way. Now I will entertain a motion to approve Yonder cell phone pouches for Northridge Middle School.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion on that, or have we exhausted?
No, I have a question for Mr. Henderson. Mr. Henderson, we had Mr. Bretz here presenting this at a board meeting in the past, and he assured us that he had a really high percentage of buy-in with staff at the high school. What's your assessment of Northridge?
I think, just from anecdotal conversations that I've had with staff, I think that they would be very, very pleased to have that classroom distraction and sometimes classroom battle removed from the equation of their day-to-day.
Thank you.
Do you mind? This is probably unconventional, but Ms. Parker, I'm sorry, I know it's a little unconventional.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Parker, the 7th grade dean at Northridge Middle School. So our staff would love it because a lot of our discipline comes from this kid was on his phone, this kid was doing this kid was on his phone, which will cut out a lot of that disruption, and teachers will be able to teach the lesson. Our disruption doesn't come from the arguing in the classroom. It comes from this thing being on or using it or setting up something to happen in our main hallways, even in our bathrooms. So I'm here because I told my principals that I would come on this day and have my thumbs up that y'all would pass it. There you go, Mr.
And that was, I believe, the dean, correct?
Yes.
At Northridge. And I am at Northridge a lot. And you do have a problem with the cell phones. I agree. I don't know if the public is aware of that, but it's bad. It's bad. You're correct.
And I also want to point out, I mean, we've talked about the academic benefits. We've also talked about behavioral benefits, but I also think the social emotional benefits are also going to sort of snowball as we get the program going. I know there's been, in terms of how students interact, how they communicate, their willingness to work in groups and collaborate. I think that having phones, having that as a persistent distraction has also impacted our students socially. And I think that, again, removing that from the equation, we'll see benefits in that area as well. Yeah.
We've had comments about expectations and help with discipline, help with grades, help with success, teacher perception, all of those things. I encourage both of you, and perhaps through us, to measure that and to come up, and maybe it's talking to the company representative, but I think it would be very instructive to establish some sort of a baseline, whatever it is, discipline cases through the year, the average grade point average, or maybe an array of those things, and then measure along the way and try to tease out if there is, well, no matter what the outcome is, to tease out how much of the cell phone difference makes. But I think it's important to measure, not just to next year say, we think it worked pretty good. It ought to be more than that. It ought to be that our grade point average is this, that we had this many fewer discipline cases, that we had something objective to say, here's where we stand, here's where we are, this is why we think it happened. So could you develop some sort of an instrument to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I got 2 years worth of pass rates for the core. I have 2 years worth of pass rates for every class in the core I can establish a baseline with. I've got a year's worth of pass rate data for every non-core class in the high school, and we can pull discipline data in Skyward going for specific offenses going back to, I forget what year it was, but it's more than 2 years since I've been principal. I know when we had to do some realignment of the disciplinary codes with Dr. Jacoby. And so that baseline can be established as well. And then we also have, your comment made me also think of one of our data dashboards that I use has a social emotional survey. And so we could rethink the questions on that survey and try to tie them to students' feeling of their social emotional well-being and other socially interactive behaviors, and if they feel like, if the students feel like it has helped them as well. I think if you ask a student right now, I think they're all gonna say, yeah, please don't vote for it. I mean, you already did, but,
Yeah, I'm in trouble when I get home.
but over time, yeah, I think I would be interested in seeing too, like if they're being honest, do they feel like, hey, we don't love it, but it has helped me with other areas of my social emotional state and mental health.
Thank you. I think that a teacher perception would be useful as well.
I'm a little concerned too, Mr. Bretz. I've talked to you a little bit about the data, but Mr. Henderson, especially for the middle school, the data shows sometimes students feel like this is too much, and truancy rates go up. So I just wondered if we're prepared for them to skip school. Like they were able to go to school and watch TikTok all day and skip school by virtue of being on their phone for as many hours as you said, Mrs. Town, that they're on it. Are we anticipating that is something that might happen, and are we ready to enforce truancy on the district if it happens at the middle school especially? That's where kids drop out in Illinois. They drop out in middle school. If they make it to high school, Mr. Bretz, you already know the math. You have a really good chance of getting them through compared to middle school. If they drop out in middle school, it's they end up with the Department of Corrections, right? So,
Right.
I don't know what
And
you-
we monitor truancy closely currently. I wouldn't, based on patterns that we've seen, and factors involved, I wouldn't anticipate this being something that would exacerbate our truancy rates, but with the utilization of our home program interventionists and our attendance monitor, we are always trying to glean as much information as we can from parents as to how we can support their students coming to school, being prepared for school. And if that came up as an issue, we would address each of those cases individually.
Anyone else? Roll call vote, Ms. Robinson.
Ms. Fang?
Yes.
Mrs. Corley?
Yes.
Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Mrs. Town? Yes. Dr. Holland?
Yes.
Ms. Cobb?
Yes, motion passes 6-0. Thank you for all your work.
Thank
I
you.
know it's been hours, thank you.
Thank you.
Item 9, extracurricular memorandum of agreement, recommendation. Mr. Bases.
Good evening again, everyone. Board, I'm here before you tonight to ask for your approval for the MOA on Appendix C, which is currently page 77 in our collective bargaining agreement. It stands there before you. I think you should have a copy of the MOA. I can get into the weeds like Mrs. Truex did on grants and contract language and dive real deep into it if we need to. I like contract language. I think the value of our contract is the language is always really good. And what we're doing here, what I'm asking you for approval today with the DEA is that the changes in this MOA clean up some of the questions in the contract on page 77 with this MOA. In particular, where you see athletic director has 3 weeks, band performance has 4 weeks. That is unclear in the contract of who is entitled to that extra time. Historically, it's been the high school athletic director, the high school band performance person, but it doesn't specifically say that. And so we're cleaning that up by adding the high school to the left there of athletic director and band performance. And then below that, where you'll see there's the option of additional time, at the employee's discretion for Northridge Southview Athletic Director, the high school band performance went from 4 weeks mandatory to 2 weeks mandatory additional time and 2 weeks optional. Northridge, Southview, and Northeast band performance will have 2 weeks of optional time. What we found through many conversations, many meetings, many discussions back and forth was we send out we used to send out all of our band instruments for cleaning at a pretty hefty cost. On the low end, $125 per instrument. Depending on the year in the music program, we have anywhere between 200 and 500 instruments that need to be cleaned. That work was all being done contracted out. The district then purchased a instrument to clean, or the device to clean the instruments, and the employees, these people here, the band performance stipend people, were doing that work. And so that's where this time comes in through the conversations, why 2 weeks would be needed optionally if they wanted to come in and do that to clean the instruments. Ultimately, it becomes a cost savings to the district from sending those instruments out if this work wasn't being done by our people. So I'll stop there, I think again, I could go for hours on this, but I'll stop there. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of the background of why this needs to be done. Any questions I'll entertain after, if needed.
Do I have a motion to approve? This is for approval, right?
Correct.
So
Motion.
moved.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
All right, any discussions? I have, the 4 week was crossed out to 2 weeks, and you just explained it because the other 2 weeks is used for cleaning instruments at the staff's convenience.
Correct.
So we're
So
not
for
eliminating
the high school, it was the 2 weeks, a lot of the discussion was there really 4 weeks worth of work to be done? And so the 2 weeks is for Northridge, Southview, Northeast, and then now DHS. So those all match up the 2, and then the additional 2 are optional for the high school. If there is more work that needs to be done, if there is something, also not to take away from the employee as well.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Roll call vote, Ms. Robinson. Oh,
I thought Ms.
I'm
Gordon had
sorry.
her hand up for a second. No.
Well, I don't have my glasses on. So I just want to make sure the one in the black, the extended contract, we're adding those because they don't currently have those, correct? Like Northridge, Southview, and Northeast
Correct.
band. Now we're giving them the option where we didn't before.
And
Correct.
Typically, they timesheet, a lot of the teachers did at $30 an hour, to be honest, and then when we went through the extracurriculars, it made more sense to
Okay.
just extend it.
Just to make sure I
And
understand.
there's a large cost savings by cleaning and repairing our own instruments.
Right.
And again, I think the benefit ultimately is that it's well-defined here. What I'm saying, well, anyway, it's well-defined, it's clear, it's what a contract's supposed to do. It's supposed to be clear.
Now, can we have a roll call vote, Ms. Robinson?
Mr. Easton,
Yes.
Dr. Howard,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Ms. Payne. Yes. Mrs. Town,
Yes.
Ms. Powers.
Yes, motion passes 6-0. Thank you.
All right, thank you
Mr.
all.
Vacies. Okay.
And I believe this is me. It is.
Next up is the item number 10, 2526 LUDA, which is Large Unit District Association.
Ooh, awesome.
Thank you. District membership, for which we usually have an annual membership to that. Mr. Hurt.
We do. So I'm recommending again this year that we update our membership with LUDA. It's an organization, obviously, for larger school districts. Get together. There's some lobbying, some legislative groups, always keeping up on trends in education. LUDA provides professional development. Actually, we used to use it in this district quite a bit, so things will vary what they offer. and to attend some of the professional development. It is free. They advocate for school districts and, like I said, lobby laws to support public schools as well. So I recommend your approval at $59.24. That's $5,924 for a year membership.
Can I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussions, questions? Moving right along then.
Mrs. Corley?
Yes.
Mrs. Town? Yes. Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Dr. Holland?
Yes.
Mrs. Banks?
Yes.
Mrs. Powell?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 11, Human Resources.
That is me. So I'm here tonight to recommend the reclassification or elimination of the position of Director of Operations. That position, there are duties that are redundant between several departments, and some of the duties actually came from other departments and were put together. Right now where the district is financially, I think that we need to consider every position, every hire that we have. So this, obviously will allow the district to reallocate funds, and we'll basically reshift duties back to other positions, and many of them where they came from. So I recommend your approval.
Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Hart, you say this is gonna save the district money?
This
And
will
that's
save.
I assume that's a very strong goal of yours, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
I think it's gonna need to happen more than just one position like this.
I agree.
So thank you for taking the first step.
And to be clear, we are talking about a position, not a person.
That is 100% correct.
Okay,
And there
thank
are
you.
other positions that we need to reclassify.
That is correct.
Yes, so thank you again for taking the first step.
Any other questions or concerns? Roll call vote.
Mrs. Town?
Yes.
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Dr. Holland?
Yes.
Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Mrs. Corley?
Yes.
Mrs. Holland?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Thank you. 11B, Superintendent Endorsement Program.
This is me again as well. So last year, the Board of Education approved paying for tuition for our administrators to attend school, to earn their advanced degrees, either their endorsement as a superintendent or to earn their doctorate degree. We have 2 administrators that have asked for the board to pay for their tuition to be a part of that program. Those 2 people are Mr. Henderson, the assistant principal at Northridge, and Miss Hampton, the other assistant principal at Northridge. They are both enrolling at Illinois State University. Is that correct, Mr. Henderson? I thought so. And pursuing their doctorate degree. So I recommend your approval of this item.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second. Any other questions?
I have a question. Is
Yes, sir.
there any obligation on the part of the recipients?
There is, so, obviously they have to, meet academic standards. I think it's C or better to be reimbursed. They have, if you're going for the superintendent endorsement, a specialist degree, you have 2 years to complete the program. And the doctorate degree, you have 5 years to complete the program and have to both, either direction you go, you have to give 4 years back to the district for paying for your tuition. And they will sign a contract, and that contract is in the board packet.
So it's post-graduation? The
That is
four-year
correct.
obligation is
That is correct.
post-graduation?
Yes, thank you. That's correct.
How are we paying for this?
This will come out of district funds.
And we don't know a cost.
It's up to $500 per credit hour, and I believe you can take up to 2 classes per semester. Yes, that's correct.
Is this a pretty standard offering for districts in Illinois?
It's probably become more standard now that, I mean, there's the teacher vacancy grant, which we do hold. However, that grant is ending next year. It's being cut by 33%. These two would not fit in that grant. So they would be outside of that, and the district would be responsible for 100% of the cost.
And Mr. Hart, you think it's fair to say that we hope that they will learn something very valuable that'll help our district and then also stay and serve the district maybe the whole or length of their career?
All of the above.
Because we were very excited that they are investing in education of our students and in themselves to do that for the district. I think
And
it's-
in our community and our district.
Yes, I think it's a really great idea. It does cost money though, but they'll be smarter, so they'll be worth more money.
Absolutely.
Roll call vote.
Dr. Howard,
Yes.
Mrs. Town,
Yes.
Ms. Payne,
Yes.
Mrs. Porter,
Yes.
Mr. Easley,
Yes.
Dr. Howard, or Mr. Howard.
Yes. Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Moving on to item number 12, special education. Mrs. Bailey, clinical education affiliation agreement recommendation.
Good evening, Board, Mr. Hart. We have several things on the agenda for you from special education tonight, but I think this one will be very easy. This is an affiliation agreement between the district and the University of Illinois. And basically, it just outlines the responsibilities for the district and the U of I with the School of Social Work for our social work interns. For several years, the district has had social work interns. This year's not one of them, but we do have 3 for next school year lined up already. And this agreement is for 10 years. There's no money involved. It's really just making sure that we have an agreement so that we can place students here. So I recommend your approval.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? So the idea of this is that students will come do their internship, love our district, want to come back to work for us.
Correct.
Have
That's
we had
the idea.
success with that in the past?
Yes, we have probably about half of our school social workers right now are former interns. We often, about 50% of them stay. You just never know. Some of them are not from around here, or they have partners in other areas, or just family that they go back to, but many of them stay here and stay in the district after the internship.
So our obligation is supervisory? for them?
Yes, yes, they're here 4 days a week, 4 full days a week, and they start just pretty much shadowing the social worker. They do have to do supervision hours within the week at some point in time. They have to evaluate them. If there's ever any issue with that, then I step in and I help our social worker with that. If there's any kind of tardy or anything like that from the social work intern. It is a big jump. You're going from college right out into the real work environment. So sometimes we have to just have some discussions. But for the most part, the U of I does a great job of working with us and providing us with great interns.
And your social workers obviously spend some time with them rather than time on their job.
Mm-hmm.
So is it a wash in terms of how much more work the social work intern can do than teaching?
I imagine if you would ask people, It's just like having a student teacher. It's really not less work for you. But what we try to do in Danville is 2 days a week at one placement and 2 days a week at another placement, because it is a long time to have someone with you all day, every day, because it's a full year internship, not like student teaching, which is often 8 weeks or whatever the case might be. So we often place the people, the interns with 2 separate social workers for a couple reasons. Number one, it alleviates some of that burden on our own social workers. And number 2, they get to see a couple different buildings and how things are done differently, maybe at an elementary building and the high school, or a middle school and KDBA, something like that. So it seems to be successful the way we've done that in the past few years.
Anyone else? Roll call vote.
Mrs. Tam?
Yes.
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mrs. Corbin?
Yes.
Dr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Mrs. Holland?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Thank you for your work on coordinating that. Item 12B, contract with Solient Health LLC for school psychologists.
In order to maintain our legal obligations for child find, for evaluation, all the things that a school psychologist must do for our district, we are asking to try something different. For the last several years, we have had vacancies in school psychologists. We are unable to find candidates. We have had a team of contract agencies looking all over the place to help find us an in-person person. That doesn't exist. We did have a hybrid person 2 years ago, but he moved on to, I think, to get his doctorate, actually. And so Mrs. Nixon and Mrs. Overstreet conducted several interviews and had a long list of qualifications that they were asking for. So we're asking to contract for 2 virtual psychologists for the school year. For 36.2 hours a week, which is our typical working hours. The cost is $3,806.25, approximately $137,000 a year for the psychologist, which would be $274,050 for next school year. So I recommend your approval.
Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
What's their work time obligation?
The same as all certified staff in District 118, 36.25 hours a week
For how many weeks?
for 180 school days.
And what's the salary again?
The salary for them. I don't know what their salary is. The cost to the district, because they're contracted. So, but the cost to the district is approximately $137,000 each.
What hours are they working?
Regular school day?
Regular school hours.
School hours,
At wherever
okay.
their placement would be.
And is all of their work face-to-face,
It would all be virtual.
virtual?
While we recognize that this is not an ideal situation, we also recognize that that these jobs have been posted for the life of our current HR director, and with absolutely no interest in these positions. So we have, as Ms.
The
Bailey,
life of me as well.
and life of you as
So
well.
11 years. at
Right,
least.
11 years. It's a long time to go without any candidates being interested. So Ms. Bailey had alluded to the fact that we have legal obligations to our students.
Absolutely.
And so, as I said, this is not an ideal situation. We hear what our current staff has told us about this option. We don't like it either. We want to tell you, we don't like it either. But it's something that we must do to fulfill our legal obligation. And if any of you know of any psychologists that would love to come and work with us, by goodness, we would welcome them. So while we don't really think it's ideal, we understand why we have to do it.
Correct. We've tried every other option that we can think of, and have put this off for about 3 years. Our contract agency's been asking us over and over again for a virtual person, and and Mrs. Nixon and I have said, absolutely not, we want someone in person. That doesn't exist in central Illinois.
So can you tell me logistically, we'll have to hire an additional staff person to be with the student in the room when this is happening? How's that look?
Possibly a teaching assistant. Sometimes you can utilize teaching assistants that we already have. We have virtual speech language pathologists already. Sometimes they sit in the back of the room where class is taking place, and they put on the headphones and they do it. It will look a little bit different when they're conducting evaluations. So we may have to hire a couple additional teaching assistants in order to help fulfill that.
And will those people travel to buildings, or are you talking about per building?
Per building.
So that's a lot more than 274,000 then. What do you think the total would be, if you had to guess?
It really depends on a teaching assistant, approximately 60 grand for a teaching assistant, but that's not necessarily, each building would need that.
Okay.
Depending on where these school psychologists are placed. And like I said, they may be able to utilize some of the teaching assistants that are in the building. We'll have to work out that scheduling.
Have you ever?
Plus, it wouldn't be a full-time necessarily, because part of what they do is attend meetings, and other things as well.
Thank you.
Do we have any students currently in the Grow Your Own program who are perhaps going to college for this?
I think one, but I do think that you have to remember that a school psychologist, it takes about 6 years. You have to get your bachelor's plus at least a master's
and all
degree.
that. Do we have any close?
No,
Very good.
we're 2 years out from a social
2
worker,
years.
even, so.
And what is the service that they do? This is evaluative, it's counseling?
School psychologists, all of the above.
I couldn't hear him.
Oh, he asked what service school psychologists do. So they complete all of the special education evaluations for the district, which is approximately 400 to 500 per school year. Right now, we have about 875 special education students. Every 3 years, each one of those students has to be re-evaled, plus any parent request. A school psychologist has to meet and determine if that evaluation is appropriate. They also have to sit in every manifestation meeting, so any special education student who is suspended or up for expulsion must have suspended over 10 days, must have a manifestation meeting, and a school psychologist has to run that meeting to determine whether or not that was a manifestation of their disability, because if it was, then we may not suspend that student. They're part of our mental health team. Right now, they don't really have the time, but they are, when we do have more of them, they're able to help with our crisis and our threat assessments. They can help with our MTSS process, which is our multi-tiered systems of supports. Legally, before we can determine a student has a specific learning disability, we have to ensure that they have had interventions, that they've had the core instruction, plus additional interventions. The school psychologist has to evaluate whether that was done appropriately or not. So they're not able to sit in on those meetings ahead of that time right now. So they have to just decide that within their 60-day evaluation window. There's a lot of legal mandates on timelines. You have 60 days from the consent of the parent to finish that evaluation. We have to have every single student transitioning from early intervention must have an IEP in place by their 3rd birthday. So we have to evaluate all those students. It does not matter when their 3rd birthday falls. We have an evaluation team going on right now that are handling all the summer birthdays. So they do all those things. We are losing a retiree. I've kind of kept her going for a few years, but so we are losing one. So like I said, they're part of our mental health team, but right now they're not really functioning in that manner to the best of their abilities because they just don't have the time. They could offer counseling services and other intervention to students as well, time permitting.
Thank you.
Okay. Roll call vote, Ms. Robinson.
Ms. May?
Yes.
Mrs. Courtney?
Yes.
Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Mrs. Town?
Yes.
Dr. Holland?
Yes.
Mrs. Chapman?
Yes, motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Then moving on to 12C, approval of partnership with Crosspoint Human Services. Ms. Nixon.
Hi, good evening, Board. Mr. Hart. I am proposing that we continue our partnership with Crosspoint Human Services for next school year. We have had this partnership in place since, I believe, the 2017-2018 school year. It's been a long time. Last school year, they did struggle with some staffing. So they weren't able to provide some counselors in the school buildings during the school day like they had in the past. But our staff, our social workers, psychologists, were still making referrals out to Crosspoint for students and families to be seen after school hours. I have spoken to Crosspoint, and they're still actively trying to pursue some counselors that can be in our school building during the school day, because they are a huge help to us in regards to being able to offer some more mental health services to our students. So far, they've been able to see almost about 475 students over all of these years, and this partnership is free to us. So I'm just proposing that we continue it.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I have a question about the modality after school. How are they seeing a counselor?
They have to go to the Crosspoint office to see.
In person?
Yes.
So it's true then that we're not offering virtual counseling, right?
During the school day, no. From Crosspoint, no,
Right.
not to my knowledge.
Okay.
They're going there to the office.
So they're having a counselor that's physically breathing in the room with them at Crosspoint. How are they getting there?
They have to provide their own transportation, or their family does. We just make a referral that the student is struggling. It may not be school related. It may be more outside issues in the family community, which is kind of not necessarily in the realm of what a school social worker might see every day. They're trying to kind of focus on more of the school issues, and so then they make that outside referral. And some of our families and parents and guardians attend as well.
Which ideally, Mr. Easton, works best when the counselors can come to the building and the referral is made and they're seen at the building. And I know, because I started this program, that that's what works best. We have
Absolutely.
the population, they have the services, and it was a good marriage of services. However, just like us trying to find help in this arena of professionals, it's difficult. So that's why they had to just do it there instead of providing enough counselors during the day. But they're actively working to try to find counselors that can come to the school during the day, which would make it ideal for a lot more students.
We used to have quite a few that came, but I mean, honestly, COVID,
Right.
it took a hit. And as you just heard, Mrs. Bailey, the entire mental health field has really gone to virtual things. So.
And Mrs. Nixon, don't we do we send some of our kids out there during the school day as well to Crosspoint?
Yes,
Is that correct?
yes.
So they're in
For the adult
their day
programming.
adult program.
Any other questions? Roll call vote, Ms. Robinson.
Mr. Easton?
No.
Dr. Howard?
Yes.
Mrs. Corbin?
Yes.
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mrs. Town?
Yes.
Mrs. Howard?
Yes, motion carries 5-1. Thank you. Thank you for that. 12D, approval of partnership with Rosecrans.
Hi,
Much the same.
I'm staying. Yes, so again, I'm proposing that we continue our partnership with Rosecrans. They provide more specific substance abuse counseling to our students, individually and group counseling. It just kind of depends on the student needs. Sometimes they start in group and then they realize some more intensive services are needed, and so they provide it that way. They have also struggled with some staffing over the years, but we this past school year, we did have one in-person substance abuse counselor that came to Danville High School, and I have spoken to them too. That counselor has taken a job elsewhere. However, they have hired someone. They go through some pretty specific counseling training for substance abuse, and so they anticipate that person will be ready for us in the fall, in person, during school hours at Danville High School. I think I covered it all, and it's free.
Breathing in the same room. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second? Thank you. Any other questions, concerns, thoughts? Roll call vote.
Mrs. Courtney?
Yes.
Mrs. Town?
Yes.
Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Dr. Howard?
Yes.
Ms. Pam? Mrs. Hart?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Thank you. 12E, is this also you?
Yes, the next
Okay.
two.
Approval of partnership with Dr. Angela Mahone, child and adolescent psychiatrist.
So again, I'm proposing that we continue our partnership with Dr. Angela Mahone, child and adolescent psychiatrist. We have been in partnership with her since 2018. She sees our students based off of referrals, either school referrals or local pediatricians or family doctors. And she has historically worked either 1 to 2 Saturdays or Sundays a month. It really just depends on what the wait list looks like. I kind of determine that, working in collaboration with her, kind of keeping track of the numbers, who needs follow-ups, if we have new referrals. And yeah, that's basically it. So I'm just proposing that we continue that that partnership.
Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I have a question, please. If she comes down on the Saturday and the Sunday, how many students will she see on any given day?
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of answer this in full. So we have kind of gone back and forth. She has started out in person, and then we did a little bit of a hybrid of in person and kind of virtual, and then we had COVID, and then she was completely virtual. Then she came back a little bit in person and hybrid back and forth. And this past school year, we've pretty much done all virtually. Depending on if the student is an initial referral, that usually takes about an hour, sometimes hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes. If it's a follow-up, sometimes it's as short as 20 minutes to 30 minutes is kind of how I do the scheduling. So that's kind of how I space it out. So she could really see anyone, maybe 5 students up to, I think I've probably scheduled her for 9 or 10 before. That was kind of a lot, but it was a lot of follow-ups that day, yeah. The initials, as you might imagine, take a lot. Like she meets with the parents. Sometimes we've had some of our school staff come in and meet with her too if, the school has made a referral and they're struggling kind of with the student. Maybe it's behavior, maybe it's mental health. And so some of our social workers, actually a couple of principals too, have come in and assisted in part of that appointment too.
So if she comes Saturday and Sunday, she stays overnight? Is that out of?
She has in the past, yes.
Okay, and you pay for her house?
Yes, the hotel. Mhm.
Do we pay this out of district funds?
Yes.
If some of these patients have private insurance or other insurance, is there billing that occurs with that?
No, this is free to all of our students. That's how we've kind of started that.
Why not?
I don't have an answer for you on that. I'm not sure. We have always started it as a free service to our students back in 2018.
I haven't thought about it until right now, but
Me either, really, till you mentioned it.
But I deal with people every day, all the time, who have medical insurance that covers visits with me, and these are medical illnesses as well. I'm thinking that probably many of these people are insured.
Or even Medicaid too.
Well, Medicaid for sure.
Yeah.
Is
That might
that
be
something we could look
It
into?
might be worth looking into that.
Yeah, I think so. I could ask. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't really know what goes in. That's not true. I bill my own Medicaid, working in the district, but I don't know what that goes to for like a doctor and what she all has to set up for that, but we could certainly ask her.
And my other question is, does she manage medications?
She makes recommendations to the pediatricians and the doctors, and then they actually do the prescribing of the medications. So she doesn't write the prescription herself and like hand it over to the parent. She calls them a coordination of care letter, and so then she types one up for each student, and then my role in that is like faxing or mailing, sometimes dropping off in person, those letters to the doctor. And then that has the medication kind of recommendations in it.
Anything else?
Our reimbursement rate's $350. My guess is Medicare is not reimbursing that high, but I don't know. So then it becomes about where would our students, you said 325, be able to see a psychiatrist? And I know in Vermilion County, that would be quite hard. So it is a lot of money. And it's a lot of people, 325. But access to a pediatrician, I think might be a coveted thing for us. If we were to try to find someone else, I'm not sure we could. So that makes me, even though I think we probably should try to get their insurance, it might come back to bite us if we did, I think.
There's further discussion.
Yeah, it does.
A point, this is not a pediatrician.
Oh, psychiatrist.
This is a child and adolescent psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist, yeah.
Even more rare.
Yeah.
Correct.
And we've had great success with a lot of our students that she sees. I mean, it's made a huge difference. But again, definitely comes with a price tag.
And we do see referrals come from, Dr. Hawk, I believe it's Swanson Family Practice, Carl, OSF.
Jeliskova.
Jeliskova. So it's not always just the school making referrals too.
Are those all District 118
students?
Yes, she only sees District 118 students. That's part of kind of my role, is as soon as I get some of the referrals, because that has happened, where some of the outside providers don't necessarily realize that or didn't ask or whatever may have happened. And so the first thing I do is go into Skyward to make sure they're an active student, and then just gather all the additional information. Like if, there's discipline, if they have an IEP.
Thank you.
Roll call vote, Ms. Robinson.
Mrs. Sam?
Yes.
Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Ms. Kane? Yes. Dr. Howard?
Yes.
Mrs. Gordon?
Yes.
Mrs. Hopkins?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. On to item 12F, agreement with Ashley Mahome, Psychiatric Consultation Clinic Assistant.
Yes, so this is a proposal to continue to provide Dr. Mahome with consultation clinical assessment. Historically, it has been Ashley Mahome, and then it was Lance Mahome, and 'cause Ashley went away to school, and now it's back to Ashley Mahome the last 2 years.
Ms. Helen,
2.5
I'd like
years.
to make a motion to table this until the July 16th meeting.
Second.
Do we need a roll call vote on that, Mr. Easton?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, can we discuss?
Oh,
By
can we
discussion,
discuss?
yeah.
Oh, yes, all right.
Yep.
Any discussion?
What is the job description for this person?
Yeah, so Miss Mahome, Ashley Mahome, when in person, she does a lot of the checking in process and the consents with the family. I do more of like the check out when I'm there. And then she does a lot of assisting in kind of starting those coordination of care letters for Dr. Mahome and getting the information in there. And then, of course, Dr. Mahome proofs that, and then I proof it as well. And sometimes assisting with like scheduling of follow-up appointments and things like that. And in addition to pretty much similar things if it's virtually too. Looks a little different, of course, in the check-in and check-out process, but.
And what are the educational requirements for this position?
All I know is that she's currently working to, going away to be a doctor. She's at a doctorate program in medical field. And so, I feel like that's probably pretty in line with the job description and her experience, but I don't know that we've ever set out specifics on what that position could be in terms of qualifications.
The job description sounds secretarial more than clinical.
maybe. I can tell you, I have been a little bit more hands-off in having kind of my hands into the coordination of care letters, because I feel like I'm not a doctor, so I know they have more of those conversations with each other about the medication and the dosage and all of that. In terms, when it gets to my hands, I'm doing more of the editing of like grammar, checking the student, making sure the school's right at the top, their birthday, that kind of demographic stuff.
But she might be responsible for the specific care and medication dosage. I mean, she would have to know those things to be able to do that communication. It's not just a secretarial letter,
Right.
like a
Right.
formatted.
Yeah, she has that conversation with Dr. Mahome and knowing those things, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And what's the stipend or cost for this
Oh,
position?
$21 per hour.
Has it been posted as a position?
No. Historically, I will say that we have not done anyone local. I know a time it was talked about maybe could a high school student getting job experience do this. We were trying to keep it very confidential because it's our own students. So this, of course, was somebody that doesn't live here, doesn't know personally our students and parents and
I'm
and that
aware
sort of
that
thing.
there are, within our staff, perhaps in the field, social workers, whatever, that might be interested in earning extra money by working a Saturday or so.
Okay.
That's why I wondered if it was posted,
Right.
because I think we do have some people who might be interested and would qualify.
Okay.
Okay, but we have a motion and a second to table this. Is there any more discussion? We will pick up this discussion and vote at the next meeting, correct? Correct.
Roll call vote.
Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Town? Yes. Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Ms. Payne? Yes. Dr. Howard?
Yes.
Mrs. Corley?
Yes.
Mrs. Howard?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
On to item 13, Ms. Zetta, food service.
Good evening, Board of Education, Mr. Hart. I am Zetta Peugeot, Director of Food Services. I am here with 3 items from the department. The first one being a continuation of agreement with the Vermillion Association for Special Education to provide their lunch for their students for the 25-26 school year. So my recommendation is to continue at the cost of $3.60 on days that the district would provide meals to their students. And yes, that's it.
So this is a motion roll call vote item. Can I please have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Okay. This is a program we engage in every year.
Yes, it was here prior to myself.
Yep. And
Yes.
the VASE students, are they District 118 students that we're paying for this food?
No.
They are not.
They're not.
That's Vermillion County Schools. That's their special education program. It's students with autism and emotional disturbances.
And do we get reimbursed at all for the,
No, this is
No, this
treated
is-
as a catering.
as a catering that we
Yes.
do?
They
Okay.
pay us.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, I
they
just wanna
pay
make sure
us.
that's clear. We don't pay
Yes.
them.
We don't pay them, they pay us.
Okay,
Are you
Great,
cooking
thank
at Southwest for those meals?
No, those meals are coming from Danville High School with our district cook.
Got it.
okay. Any
In
other
the
questions?
beginning, it did.
Okay. Roll call vote, Ms. Robinson?
Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Dr. Howard?
Yes.
Mrs. Corley?
Yes.
Ms. Payne?
Yes.
Mrs. Town? Yes. Mrs. Howard?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much. On to 24-25 Summer Feeding Program. This is an informational item.
Yes, last meeting I did discuss the summer feeding programs for the school district, which is the high school and Mark Denman. For the community, we have Project Success. And just as of yesterday, we are adding 4 of the city of Danville parks so that we can go out and feed the students, because my staff is hearing from the students that they're still hungry. They're asking for additional food, and we thought we'd take the food out to them. So we'll go out to the parks Monday through Friday, somewhere between, I'm still working out the logistics, which we'll have them final by Friday, somewhere between 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at Winter, Carver Park, Douglas, and no, I'm sorry, not Douglas, Garfield. And we're working on something in Tilton to address the students in the Southwest Southview area.
They have to eat the food there, right?
Yes, they can't take it. They have to eat it there. So that was part of the problem. We originally started out with 8 locations, but after canvassing the city, I realized that some locations do not provide the bench and table. So we had to go down to 4, but they have to eat the meal there. And we do get reimbursed for those.
From
From the same program, our federal program.
your federal, it's federal program. Yes. Thank you. Any other questions, thoughts? This is an informational item only, so requires no vote today.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then
One
your
more.
last item, request to go out for bid for towel service. Recommendation, this is a motion and roll call vote.
Yes, I am making a recommendation to go out to bid for the towel service for the food service department. We have concluded our 5-year agreement with them, and we thought we'd go out to see what other options were out there.
Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Motion,
Second.
yes, second, thank you. Did you get that, Ms. Robinson? Thank you. We get towel service all year long?
So, yes, the contract that is coming to an end, that particular contract stated that even though we were on hiatus for the summer or winter break, fall break, this particular service still provided the towel services for us. About 2 years ago, I was able to work with the management there and requested that they stop because it was towels piling up for absolutely no reason. So they did accommodate us with that. So the last 2 years we have not, but prior to then, yes.
So your bid specs this time will be to observe only the
Suspension
time
of
when we have
service.
students available, yeah, okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, anything else with that?
I just wondered why we don't do it ourselves. You might be able to give us a reason.
Laundry service, so we don't have one as far as I know.
We just don't have the machines
Nor the
Right.
staff.
nor the
Yeah.
staff.
Oh, nor the staff, but
You think you'll get more than one bid?
yes, I already have at least 2,
Good.
possibly 3.
Great,
So
thank you.
yes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to go out for bid for towel service contract. Roll call vote.
Mrs. Corley,
Yes.
Ms. Ham,
Yes.
Mr. Easton,
Yes.
Dr. Hummer,
Yes.
Ms. Payne,
Yes.
Ms. Howard.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Seta. 14, approval of Board of Education travel expenses. This is a request approval of the Board of Education members, Kimberly Corley and Alice Payne, to travel to the National School Safety Symposium held in St. Louis, June 25th through the 27th. This is a motion, roll call vote. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Okay. Any discussion? Do you want to explain what this symposium is?
Yes, Ms. Payne and I will be going to St. Louis next Wednesday. It is a seminar on school safety. It is a 2-day conference. We won't be coming back until late Friday night. I've been looking forward to this for months, and now I'm really hesitant because of our financial situation. I still think it's extremely important for us to go. School safety and student safety is our utmost. It's just important. I am just torn, that's all. I'm just torn on spending money right now. It is gonna cost, just being transparent, about $2,000. And I don't feel like that's a lot of money, but right now, everything's a lot of money. So I'm just trying to be transparent. It is gonna cost a little over $2,000 for us to go to this conference. But I do think it's important. It's National School Safety Seminar. I do think it's important that we go. It's just,
Bring good information back.
I will be bringing a lot of information back.
Yeah, I'll vote for this motion, but I want you to take good notes.
Oh, yes, yes. If
Anything
anyone
else?
does want to see it, I do have the handout on what we'll be doing, so.
I've been to conferences with her, and she really does pay attention. Roll call vote.
Mrs. Town?
Yes.
Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Mrs. Payne? Dr. Howard?
Yes.
Mrs. Gordon?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Okay, to our very favorite item.
It's almost as fun as school calendars.
Oh, yes, they equal each other. Press policy issue 117, the first reading.
It is a first reading, and the good news is there's lots of just footnote changes and updates according to law. That's probably a perfect way to start, especially if you're new to the board, because these things are very, very cumbersome. So I'll just ask that you read them in advance. I will give a summary at the next board meeting, but just to give you an idea, I just marked a couple things. So, one change is school boards don't have to go out for referendum for if they're building or adding on to a school, as long as it will house a pre-K or a kindergarten classroom. So I'm not sure where that came from. Another change is from guidance counselor to school counselor. I mean, these changes are minimal this time. Like I said, it's probably a good one to start with, so.
Do you want to back up for new members and for the public
I
and say
do,
what press
sorry.
is?
Sorry, so
Thank
press
you.
policy, thank you for the reminder, is a service that we get through the Illinois Association of School Boards. And so they basically keep up with all the laws, the legislation, and any school code that comes out, and they're constantly looking at policies, especially when the legislation is in session. So that's typically April and October is when the new press policies come out. Outside of that, they still come out, but they have a tendency to be much smaller in quantity, where after meeting, they're much, much larger there. We probably come out, what would you say, Ms. Robinson, 4 to 5 times a year? And again, we look at them all, we'll send them to directors, and actually, we will be setting up a, this is probably one of the most important things that board members do. So this is actually a committee that board members should be sitting on, going over with the administration. So we will get that going along with our financial committee, which will meet quarterly as well.
This actually saves us a lot of time.
Lots.
It's a lot of policy, a policy that is dependent on legislative votes and so forth, and so they do that work for us. They make this much easier for us, so it's a valuable service. Tedious, but valuable. Okay,
Yes.
Thanks for that. And that, my friends, brings us to the final item, informational items.
And I do want to talk on informational items. I just want everybody to be aware of the funding. I know that you've heard a lot tonight, but a lot of information has come out from the state, really starting today, some yesterday. But the governor just passed the budget, and in that budget, there's lots of cuts to education. And the federal funds are also affected, and the budget was just passed, and the U.S. Department of Education was hit as well. So the money that we've been accustomed to with ESSER and kind of grabbed on to what we could and did what we could with those, that has ended. So right now, evidence-based funding, which is where we get our funding per child, will go from, it was originally 307 million, now it's 301. EAVs, they're expected pretty much to stay the same, which is, oh my gosh, somebody give it to me. The EAV, somebody, what is it? Who's the business person in here? I'll come back to it because I'll think of the acronym.
Equalized assessed value.
Thank
That's-
you,
oh,
of property.
Okay, yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So that's expected to remain consistent. Regular transportation, so last year our transportation claim, we were paid back at 79%. This year it'll be paid back at 73%. Special transportation will go from 69% reimbursement to 61% reimbursement. Private facilities, and this is typically special education, we were reimbursed at 77%, will now be reimbursed at 50%. That is huge, the cost to have a child in a residential facility. Public facilities, we are gonna get some money back, so we're going from 0 to 50%. However, we don't typically have that, by the way. So just lots and lots. So it's, I know that we talked about title money, special ed money is affected. There's actually, the federal government put out today, or the U.S. Office of Education put out today. So with IDEA, the Individuals with Disability Education Act, preschool is down to 0. And that's federal funding, which is illegal. You have to serve kids with disabilities. So we received more pre-K money, not a lot, by the way, doesn't offset much, but then 0 for special education. So a lot still unknown out there. I don't know if you've watched the news, but even community eligibility for free breakfast and lunch. I had Ms. Zeta looking, and I think Champaign actually is charging. And so the criteria is going to charge. So there's not enough students in Champaign County for them to continue with free lunch for the community. They have 3 years. We have 3 years before we're, got it. Nice. So, you know, those things are all coming or hanging, and that's the concern of the board. So, you know, we will be questioning purchases. Hopefully you're questioning yourself if you're a district employee, but big things out there. IDA Part D we talked about. So they're going to take all the money for education, for training, for special education. So if it has anything to do with adults, for advocacy, for printed materials, all of those things. So right now they're at 0. They are cut completely. So I would assume there'll be some change. I wouldn't want to bet on a whole lot of change. I think we're seeing what we have in store for us. So maybe a tough year financially. But I did want to share, not the best news, but it's our reality. Anyone else?
Any other good news for us?
No, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. We'll start with you, Ms. Payne.
Okay, first of all, congratulations to our new superintendent and our associate superintendent.
Thank you.
It really is gonna help us moving forward in this district. So kudos. Some school programs seem to be moving right along, and I appreciate the fact that our district provides lunch in the summertime for our students. And as the way things are going, they need that help, and I'm glad we're able to do it.
Okay. Also, congratulations to your new position, Ms. Parker. I would love to get to know you a little more. I don't know you that well, so I envision that happening. And Mr. Hart, congratulations on your position. What I noticed when you both accepted your position and just looked at each other, there was a mutual respect and there was kindness. And that is so needed for us right now. And so thank you. That just is genuine from both of you. I think that is wonderful for us, and I'm happy to be on the board while you're here. Yeah.
Mr. Easton.
Yeah. Mr. Hart, I've asked you a lot of questions in the last couple weeks, and congratulations. Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Parker, congratulations. I think to say our district is facing challenges would be a significant understatement. We do have urgency, I think, and having you two on board to help us be creative is exciting. I'm excited. I think that you both will help the board to collaborate together with our staff and our students to really achieve some goals this year, even with the financial stress. I think it's important that we don't let fear be what causes us to do what we do next. We need to not be frozen. Our students need us to be innovative and just make do with what we have. And I think we're going to do that, and I'm excited for that. I will say I have been talking to Mr. Hart about the budget, and just wanted to draw attention to some things about the budget that I hope can be looked at, Mr. Hart, and just to say publicly, the budget that was passed in September of 2024 by the Board of Education was supposed to have a proposal for a budget for 2026, 2027. It basically does not. And it's supposed to have one for 2027, 2028, and it does not. And so I hope that as you're thinking about the budget and as we're thinking about the budget, that we'll actually not be trying to create a budget for just this year, because I think we know, at least from the federal side, what to expect for the budget next year, to be less again, potentially. And just with our state, it might be less again as well because of revenue issues that we ran into in the Department of Education across the state. So I would really like to see someone take a creative and careful approach in actually treating that part of the 52-page budget seriously and giving us a starting point where you think we'll be actually, and not just pencil whip it. And I don't believe you will, but I just wanted to say that part of the budget has my attention. A 3-year plan, which is what we're supposed to do and what we did not do, in my opinion, in the past year. So, but I look forward to working with you, and you've helped answer a lot of my questions, and thank you for that.
I think success depends on the leadership. It, of course, also is contingent on the people who are followers and helpers from top down. But I couldn't be happier to be among people than the leadership I see here. You have most of it assembled. We have one more board position to fill, and I'm optimistic about that one as well. I think we have a good team, and I think that the leadership, though it be on stormy seas, I think we have a captain and crew that can get us there.
I really don't have any word comments that they haven't said. So congratulations, I'm excited to be working with you again. And of course, Mr. Hart, all our admins, all our directors, we really can't thank you enough for what you guys do. I know we probably don't say it enough, but you guys are extremely important to us, and we do value you and what you do. And I think you guys need to know that.
Thank you, and I echo everything. As a matter of fact, I can tell we've been married for a long time because he said exactly what I was going to say. Next time I'm going to go first. But what I want to say to all of the directors, the teachers, and the building administrators, what we're trying to do here is put together a team to lead you, to support you, and to give you hope for your buildings and your staff and your students. And I hope you see that. I hope you see that that is what we're trying to do. And I think we're putting all those pieces in place. To the community, if you don't think people are interested in being on this board and serving on the administrative team, you are wrong. We had all kinds of people interested. And that's a good sign, that despite our challenges, despite how we've been in the news, we have people that say, yes, I still want to be part of it. So for that, I'm grateful. Mr. Hart, I'm grateful for you, for your leadership. I am so excited, Ms. Parker, that you're part of the team. I already know what you can do and what you bring to the table. So thank you so much for that. And on that note, this is the first summer meeting, and we don't have another one until July, right? Right.
16th.
The 16th. We may have a special meeting to seat the new board member. We want to get that last piece finished so that we can really move forward. That being said, go enjoy a little bit of time, enjoy the sun and the heat, and we appreciate very much you coming out. Oh, yes, I always forget that we actually have to adjourn. Do I need a motion for that? No, okay, we're adjourned.
There's a lot of words in here, but it was a good meeting.